So, now that you finished your Wendy's,
It was wonderful. It was two terrific grilled chicken sandwiches.
this launches into probably the whole podcast. But hold on, I'm gonna close the window here so we don't have like extra noise.
The
But,
Breakfast Club Studios, Studio One,
Right. Ooh,
open window.
sound effects. So,
That could be removed in post.
no, it can't. I have no technology here. So apparently you have a Wendy's story.
Before we break in there, I have a Wendy's story. So, on the way to the podcast studios, I stopped by Wendy's to get some grilled chicken sandwiches.
Uh-huh.
So I'm waiting in line. I get up to the window, I pay, and she says it'll be a few moments. There was one person in line when I got there, and I was right behind him. And then when I was up at the window, there was only one person behind me. So we're sitting there, and I'm just fiddling on the phone looking at our wonderful thread that we have. And then all of a sudden, the person behind me just starts honking her horn, like at the drive-thru.
Right.
And I guess the manager was right at the window, and she goes, and she, an older African American lady, and she just looks out the window. She goes, "What the fuck does he think he's doing?" and I'm sitting there. I start laughing. I'm like, I don't know. I guess they're mad they don't have the food. I don't know. It's heavily tinted, so I can't tell if it's a woman or a man in the vehicle. And I guess they just they're mad they didn't get their food yet. She's like, "Man, we fucking up their food," and just walked away. And I just started laughing. So she gives me a phone. She goes, "Thank you, sweetheart, for not honking your horn." I'm like, "That's great." And by the way, they were fantastic chicken sandwiches.
So now, I've now made the mental note, because this is the Wendy's right by me, that I will now be giving them extra business because I like that. But I am definitely going to watch my behavior around them.
Bro, she didn't skip a beat.
I don't want floor burgers. I don't want spit fries.
It's Saturday
I don't need anyone mixing my Frosty with their dick.
It's Saturday at noon when I'm in the drive-thru. Like, it's just midday Davie, Florida. There's just not a whole lot going on. It's nice outside, and she didn't even skip a beat. And she was just like, "Nope, fuck this," and
Someone
walked away.
Someone brought their week's worth of work frustrations with them Saturday to the drive-thru.
It was fantastic. So yeah, that was my Wendy's story. It was pretty funny.
Well, and we'll segue that because you're on a special diet now,
I am on a special diet for a special reason.
which we'll get into that in a second. But before that, I'm just gonna ignore everything the doctor said and say I told you that the dirty Renaissance Fair was going to make you sick, and not more than 12 hours after our podcast and you going to the festival, whatever, Renaissance Fair? Is it the fair?
The Ren Fair, yeah.
Ren Fair. That we're getting messages on the group chat saying, "I'm pissing blood. I'm on my way to the hospital."
It was
And
6 hours later, so 6 hours.
Didn't I just leap at the chance to say, "I told you, don't eat the turkey legs"?
I did eat the turkey legs, okay? I did have the meat on a stick, though, and that was probably a bad
Was
move.
it called meat?
It was called meat on stick.
Not like beef?
You had
not
beef,
like pork?
You had beef or options of beef or chicken.
Oh, okay. But, all right.
But
I don't know if they ever clarified that or just stuck with meat.
Well, the title was meat on stick.
Right.
And I was like, all right, well,
As
yeah.
As long as the logo didn't involve a rodent's tail.
It was fantastic, and I'm pretty sure it was beef. So
Right. I guess they have to.
This is America. So
Barely. But
So yeah. So went to the Ren Fair, had a wonderful time.
was it as much of a shit show as I...
Oh, absolutely. It's the Ren Fair. It's as
Anything worth...
It's as low hanging fruit as you get.
I mean, is anything worth talking about, or is it... I mean, if it's not funny stuff, I don't care.
I run through it real quick. We got there real early because we were supposed to meet up with my wife's friends and for our work friends, actually. And like most people in my life, they can't be anywhere on time. And I always get places early because I have a terrible need to always be on time, which has never worked in my favor. And so we're there an hour early. Oh, we're going to be a little late. And I'm like, ugh, all right. So, we're wandering around the Renaissance Festival. When it opened, So it was like being in the Philippines, and you're the only tourist there. Everybody can't stop trying to sell you shitty things from their tents.
Right.
I mean, look, I get it. You're trying to make money. For a lot of people, they're a traveling show, so this is the tips and the sales. It's their only revenue that they get. But stop. I'm not spending $700 on some fucking medieval like corset or some just the dumb shit.
You can't come on too thirsty. It's like it's like when you're trying too hard to hit on a girl at the bar or something.
Oh, desperation leaks from every single human being.
Yeah.
You can just smell it, man. I had one vendor wanted to sell me a map. I'm like, bro, totally not interested in a map. And he just wouldn't stop for like 50 feet walking to the to his little stand, past his stand, and walking away from his stand.
But you said you were there early, so maybe they're just tuning up their instruments for the day.
Oh yeah,
warming up.
This is just stretching.
Yeah.
And then we have some associates that we've known throughout the years that do the pirate thing.
Yeah.
And so we stop by to say hi to them. My yearly hey,
Right.
I'm
still alive. You're still alive.
Yeah.
We acknowledge each other, and we don't dislike each other.
Yeah, we should hang out more often. Blah blah blah. Yeah, absolutely. We'll get together, and that's never gonna come to fruition.
Nobody's phone rings.
Yeah.
Until next year, where you bump into each other.
And they're doing their thing, and it was what you imagine the Ren Fair to be once people started filling in. It's just that's not my thing, man. But it was fun with the people I was with. And then we came home. So we came home with Wendy's and put on Justice League.
Do you eat anything other than Wendy's?
I do.
Or should we be seeking a sponsorship?
If Wendy's would like to give us a sponsorship, I am in no position to say no, Ben.
You might be, just in the fact that you can't eat 90% of their
those grilled
menu.
chicken sandwiches were phenomenal.
Not a paid sponsor.
So we got home. The wife put on Justice League because I guess she just felt like being in more physical pain throughout the evening because
What, the movie?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
it was on TV. So we're watching Justice League. I fall asleep. I fall asleep around some point where they're trying to like carry on a story, and I'm like not interested in any of this nonsense. And I wake.
Plus, you're probably high.
That's fair. That's totally fair. So I just ate.
Meaning that like you ate, you got high.
Yeah.
That's a deadly combination, and then obviously you're not gonna be able to concentrate on boring story.
Fucking Christ, Ben
Right.
Affleck upset he's even on the screen, and I fall asleep. Everything is fine. I wake up and my lower abdomen is just on fire, and I'm like, I just figured, man, I just really have to take a piss. I thought that maybe there's pressure. Maybe I shall have to shit at the same time. Like, I'm not really quite sure, but something downstairs isn't right. Time to go rectify. So thinking that I had to take a shit as well, I sit down. And, and I must have pissed for like...
Listen, you don't have to make up a reason why you sat to pee. Well, lots of people like to just take a relaxing piss.
No, that's not me, brother.
All right.
But anyway.
I knew a guy in college that for some reason preferred to sit when he pissed, and we pretty much hazed him all freshman year until he stood his ass up.
That's fantastic.
Like, don't confess these things unless you want. You're going to take a verbal beating.
It's like Dante Wilder blaming the costume award of the ring to why he lost.
Right.
I mean, like, bro, I don't care if it's true. Just leave that one alone.
Right.
That's not going to work out in your favor in the court of public opinion. So
by the way, Earl sent like some pictures of that to me and said, "So I want to do this for Halloween." And I said, "Marco can build that for you." And he replied, "I've got time."
Oh no, I might be building a
know.
costume. I'll reach out to Earl and be like, "Earl, what up?"
Well, it's funny because I'm totally tangenting here, but I go, "Oh, you haven't seen his 10-foot tall, ridiculous Transformer costume he's building?" And he's like, like it's all Instagram
Yeah.
messaging, so it's like, but the inflections there with the capital letters and the whatever, like, no, where's this? And so I sent them over to your
Yeah.
Facebook page for your props. and
Yeah.
stuff. So yeah, maybe. But anyway,
Maybe I got a future investor.
I don't know. Probably not.
Or let's sit down and talk small numbers.
So
So yeah, so when I realized I'm not gonna shit, but for some reason, like it took like a good, it was like a 2-minute piss too. It was like a really good one, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh man, I was throughout the day, and
did it hurt?
no, that was a weird thing. Like, it didn't hurt at all. So I'm like, I get up, I wash my hands, and I'm just like, oh, like it still like hurts.
Again, you don't have to. It's just for the podcast. You don't have to make shit up.
Oh my god, no!
Like
You know what? You know what? Because of my wife,
No
I have
coronavirus is
because of my
awareness.
wife and because of Chewy, I've gotten in the practice of washing my hands every time I go to the bathroom. Every time now.
because of your wife.
Because my wife is very insistent. She always washes her hands. And at Chewy, listen, all those fucking people in that building, I'm not.
We're filthy construction guys, though. I don't know about.
Listen, if I'm going to die, it'll be by that hand because in my other job, when I'm doing construction, I rarely wash my hands. So it's like one of those, I'll die by that sword, but not by the
Right.
chubola. So
Chubola.
that's what they call it. They call it the chubola. Get that fucking
All right.
all those cretins in one building. And
Someone's got a foot out the door.
no, I love my coworkers. They're good people. But the people not on my team, fuck them, don't care. So I wash my hands. I go to flush, and it's just a sea of red. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, now granted, I'm like hurting, like still hurting, like
Did the
standing
pain-
straight up.
Was the pain still just as
The
bad?
pain at this point was like at a 4 or 5 for me.
Which is like a 7 for.
For most people, probably. So I'm sitting there like, what the fuck? And I'm like, and I don't have to shit. I'm like, I'm trying to. I'm like, why? And I don't want to like reach in. So like, I grab the brush, the toilet brush, and I stood in there just to kind of see like, oh, maybe I'm just seeing shit, and it's kind of like thick too. And I'm like, I just pissed blood, and I'm hurting down here. And
I just went to the Ren Fair.
And I just went to the Ren Fair, and so I flushed, I cleaned.
I ate something called meat.
I went in our bedroom, I laid down, and I tried to find a comfortable laying space. I couldn't find one. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I'm like, oh fuck, I have to go to the hospital. And for anyone who knows me knows, I don't like going to the fucking hospital. I don't like admitting that I'm hurt. I don't like any of that shit. I just dislike it. Probably because I got Crohn's disease really young, and I just don't like to have those thoughts in my head. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, no, I'll ride this out. This pain is gonna go away. Like I just pissed blood. Maybe it's an aberration. If I'm still pissing in the morning,
Yeah, the random blood pissing.
yeah, I have health insurance, but I despise going to the hospital. It's the procedure that it is. I'm just not into it. I've had a long day. Don't want to do this shit. And fucking.
It's funny because if I, at where I am at life and the amount of years I've not had health insurance,
Yeah.
I'm of the opinion that if I ever have health insurance, I'm using it for every minor fucking thing.
We're getting to that. We're getting to that shortly now. The post hospital trip. So I open my door and I'm like Natalia, come in here. Because no,
What's
this is why her mother. So my wife's mother has had cancer for the better part of like 15 years, and she's on experimental medication. She's doing very well, but the last couple days she'd been really complaining about pain in her leg. She was thinking of going to the hospital on Sunday.
so? What you want a carpool?
So I'm sitting there realizing, fuck, I have to go to the hospital. There's a lot of things I can worry away or I can not think about. When you start pissing blood, nah, you need to like you at least need to like have a conversation.
See, for the uninsured guy sitting across from you, I'd give it a day.
I was willing
I would
to.
definitely give it a day.
I was willing to, and
See,
then I
at least
realized,
if it lightened up. If it wasn't quite as red, if it was more of a pink,
Yeah.
then I know I'm on the road back.
So I bring the wife in. I'm like, listen, I know you're gonna take your mom to the hospital tomorrow. I need to go tonight. And she's like, what? I'm like, I just pissed blood, and it hurts a
She's
lot.
like, I swear it's only you, Marco.
So, and my wife was already worried that about her mother's pain, because anytime someone in her position feels really uncomfortable, God only knows what it could be. So I'm like,
Let's leave religion out.
like I don't want to do this, but I have to go. Let's just go real quick, and don't make a thing of it. So my wife goes in and tells her mother-in-law, my mother-in-law tells her mom, "Oh, we got to go to the hospital for Marco." I'm like, "Oh, precisely what I was trying to avoid." And you know, it wasn't a shit show or anything. I really had to we had to go. So I get to the emergency room. By the way, your boy drove like he was 18 again. I blew every light. I did not give a fuck.
I didn't know that was like an.
Oh, bro, when I was young, oh yeah, I drove as if like I drove as if traffic
As if
the
you,
traffic
you
law
lived
was
in
a
Hialeah
suggestion.
and
Yes. Exactly.
there are no actual
Yes,
laws.
is if I was in Hialeah.
Yeah.
I blew every light.
Every law is a suggestion.
Yeah, pretty much. And my wife's like, "But what if you get pulled over?" I'm like, "I'm pissing blood. He'll understand."
Right.
He can get out of his car at the emergency room and yell at me as I'm walking in the door. I'm like, "You tase me if you have to. I'm halfway through the door, so Lily can take care
He'll
of it."
treat me for that too.
Fuck. So I get in. There's nobody in the emergency room. But by the time I've checked in till I have a bed, and they start the first round of tests, could have been 10 minutes. Which I'm sitting here like, this might be the most impressive showing of an emergency room.
Pissing blood must be like high on the list of.
Well, there wasn't anybody. There's no waiting list or nothing,
Oh, okay.
you know. So it was just like, all right,
I always
awesome.
see like when, you know, those billboards for certain hospitals, and they say average wait time currently is like 10 minutes
Yeah.
or 15 minutes.
Yeah,
or whatever.
apparently they're not lying, Ben.
Okay. I thought that was just a pitch to get you to drive an extra 5 minutes to go have your emergency treated there.
Hey, can this emergency hold on for 10 more blocks?
Right. Yeah. It's like I was going to turn off on this exit, but if they're only a 10-minute wait, I'll drive to the next.
So I'm laying down. They start. The doctor comes in with the 14 assistants or the probies or whatever the doctors in
So like
training.
I feel like those teaching hospitals on TV.
Everyone's got a notepad and diligently writing every word down. You know, they're super stoked.
Right.
And I'm sitting there going, yeah, piss and
Well,
blood.
thankfully it's not anything embarrassing. Like you got something stuck up your ass. Or,
Oh yeah.
or I got a wart on my dick. You know.
Snake Eyes went where no Joe went before.
Right.
So I'm explaining to the doctor, I'm like, listen, I've had kidney stones before. They didn't feel anything like this. Like it was painful, but it wasn't this painful. You know, I have Crohn's disease. I showed her a spider bite I got on my leg like 2 weeks ago. That's just now starting to really kind of heal. And I'm like, I don't know which one. I went to the Ren Fair today. Like I damn near explained my fucking last 2 weeks down to my bowel movements.
You gave more of a rundown than when they're tracking, like someone that has coronavirus, who you've been with,
No
who you've talked to,
shit.
where you've
There's
traveled.
satellites in space that have less information than I gave this fucking woman. I was like, I just don't want any mistakes. I'm pissing blood. Let's figure this shit out. You know, let's go team. You know, like, where's the guy with the cane who talks shitty to everybody? I need that guy right now.
What was that, House?
Yeah, House.
Okay.
So they start running all these tests.
Good
I
reference.
got a CAT scan, I got blood work, I got an EKG, I got all this shit on me. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, all right, if there's anything else wrong with me, I'm going to know.
Right.
You know, because I'm
This is like going in for a hangnail and finding out you're dying of cancer.
So the woman comes in after like less than an hour. She comes in and goes, well, all right, so we found out what it is with your CAT scan. You've got a bunch of kidney stones.
They scanned my cat.
And I was like, oh, she's also got, no, excuse me. She goes, you've got 2 large kidney stones. One is large enough that it should pass easily, but it's behind a kidney stone that is 5.5 by 6 millimeters big.
I'm not sure how big that is. Like,
Think of a pearl.
Okay.
Now think of it not like round, but like edges
Like a
and
crack
shit.
rock.
Yeah, think of a crack rock in the size of a pearl. That is basically. I'm an oyster, and
How
I
the
have.
fuck are you gonna pass that?
So she goes. We're gonna run some more tests and consult the urologist, but we have to keep you overnight. I'm like, understood. I'm at the right place. I told my wife, I'm like,
Just charge it on the insurance card.
go grab my laptop and kind of thing. And he took me up to a room. I got hospital food. Not terrible, but as bad as you imagine. And
Did you have a roommate?
I did have a roommate. I had 2 roommates. My first roommate was discharged the next morning. Kindly old black man, and he was very kind. Him and his wife were like, "We hope you get better," and I was like, "Oh, thank you so much," but we both know that either way, this is gonna hurt a lot. There's just that silent understanding that I'm in trouble.
This is the golf ball through the garden hose situation.
Yeah. So as I'm admitted into my room, they're like, the nurse.
Wait, what was the other one?
Oh, the other one was an old Cuban man. He must have been in his late 80s, and he was there throughout most of the next day and into the night when I got discharged. And they spent now the best part about it, I'll bring it up later, but they spent the last hour and a half while I was there, him, his wife, and his 2 daughters, praying very loudly in a circle. Like everyone's holding hands and they're praying very loudly.
Did you feel left out?
I felt as if it was a seance, and I felt as if some spirits were going to show up, dark or not. I could not tell you, but I needed to get the fuck out because I couldn't do that shit for another night. I'll explain why in a second. So when they admit me,
Was it like Christian prayers, or were they
I
about
don't
to?
fucking know. It was in Spanish.
Or were they about to cut a
It
chicken's
sounded like
throat?
Jesus was involved.
Okay.
I
I don't know if it was like we're in South Florida.
Yeah, it
could
could
have
be
been
anything.
Santeria or something.
So when they admit me, my nurse comes over and she starts hooking up all the machines. She goes, oh, I see you've got some kidney stones and some gallstones too. And I'm like, what?
Gallstones.
I was like, yeah, but don't worry. The gallstones are normal. They're normal size and they should pass easily. And about most of your kidney stones are really small. I'm like, how many kidney stones?
Gallstones? How do you pass gallstones?
I don't fucking know.
Same way?
I don't know.
Well, you're the one that.
It's funny. That was the
You're the one that
only
was there
time
and
during
had
the
doctors
hospital.
talking to you.
That's the only time during the hospital that gallstones was specifically brought up, because every other conversation, even with the urologist, was all your stones will pass. It's just these 2 we're worried about.
Right. But I'm just curious, like, I don't know where your gallbladder is connected and how you pass gallstones.
Or if those are things that go
also,
away.
And how, even if they didn't tell you that, you haven't looked that up yet.
Yeah. Mostly because I've been more concerned about the marbles that I'm trying to pass out here. And I'm like, how many kidney stones? She goes, oh, you got like 6 or 8, but they're all really small. And she's explaining to me, oh, most people get small kidney stones. They pass them. They never even know. You never even know. And
yeah, I think I pass them every now and then.
Yeah.
And I'll get a sharp when I've knew I passed one because I saw it. It was an extreme like razor blade the whole way down experience. Yeah. And before that, I was kind of like, I think it was stuck somewhere along the way because like you go pee.
Yeah.
And then it was like someone didn't turn the faucet completely off. And you're like, what the fuck? But then once it passed, your water works fine again.
Yeah.
But so every now and then, not often enough to say it's something else.
Yeah.
But like once a year and a half, I'd get that same exact sensation once or twice, and then it would stop again. And I just without doing a hunt and peck for a kidney stone in my fresh bucket of piss water I had down there, that I assume that's what it was because that's what it was before.
So it's probably what it was, and it happens all the time. So
someone's gonna message. No, that's VD.
I hope we have enough people listening for that message to actually happen.
Well, I blew it now by actually suggesting it.
Yeah, suggesting we have an audience.
No, or suggesting they comment that.
So I I'm sitting in bed, and now I want more. Now I have more questions. They start. I mean, I must have had my blood taken 3 or 4 times, and I'm sitting there going like, I'm like, can someone like tell me whether or not you're all looking at something way different than kidney stones? Because if you know it's kidney stones, you got a bit of my blood. What the fuck else are you suspecting?
um, and what are you? You had the urologist come in yet, or are you still waiting on that?
So it's
because why are you still there waiting?
yeah.
Like,
So by the time I'm in the room settled, it's like 11:45
at night,
and I know I'm staying the whole night.
overnight.
So and they told me the urologist will probably be there early in the morning, maybe in the maybe early afternoon. I guess he had some procedures he had to do, and I was like, that's fine. As long as your boy pissing blood, I'm waiting. And they gave me some morphine. Thank whatever religious deity you wish to for morphine, because it's a wonderful drug. And I didn't feel any pain. Then I waited, fell asleep. You know, the wife left around like 1, 2 maybe. And then I was just like geeked out. So I'm asleep. I come to every like hour or so, every hour and a half, where they come in to do your blood pressure and all that shit throughout the night.
That's obnoxious. How are you supposed to get better when they interrupt your sleep?
Well, after like 3, I don't think they bothered me again till like 6:30, 7.
Oh, so you got a good solid 3 hours.
Yeah, good solid 3 hours.
What
Good
the
solid
fuck?
3 hours.
No wonder people die in hospitals.
And the nurse shifts changed, and my new nurse is came in with my breakfast, the whole 9 yards. I had the shittiest
Any hot nurses?
No. Sorry, Ben. All those no. They were all
So I still don't regret not visiting you.
no. They were all older Jamaican ladies. All except for the last nurse he was like 25. He looked like he was very.
As long as he's tan and looked like he took care of himself, I'm interested.
Oh yeah, definitely different, definitely like Cabana Boy kind of look to him, like our boy Adrian, kind of like that. And he was so gung ho and happy, and he was the only one that he's like, Mr. Salvino. I'm like, brother, calm down on that shit. Just call me Marco, man. And he's like, no problem, Mr. Salvino. I'm like, all right, you love your fucking job. We're just gonna let you run with that. But he was super good, and went out of his way to help me, because I sat there for almost 20 fucking hours to wait for this fucking urologist. At some point, I was like, guys, like, can I just come back? Like, I've got work. I've got shit to do. Like, at this point, the pain had kind of gone away. I felt like even now as we speak, there's a pressure there, but I can totally deal with it. It's not a big deal, considering I know why it's there, and I know the only cure for it. So I'm fine. It's whatever. I'll deal with it. I've dealt with fucked up teeth. I've dealt with Crohn's. I don't give a shit. 15 years of wrestling. Pain's not a thing I'm worried about. I was just worried that it was going to be something like, they said it would have to be surgically removed, and we were waiting on the urologist. We waited all fucking day. My first roommate came in. They brought in the old Cuban dude, and I'm sitting there like, this guy's gonna fucking die in this room, and I'm gonna be haunted by an old Cuban man for the rest of my life.
Well, then you'd have another good story. and a recurring story if he's haunting you.
Oh yeah. And we'd have him as a guest. He would have him as a guest before we got Blake on.
Ooh.
Sorry, Blake.
No, you're not.
So,
like I said, when you have $20 to waste and you want to wave that under his nose, he might come floating in.
10-4. I got your travel taken care of, buddy.
Yeah, I'll handle the
So
sandwich.
finally, at like 9:00 on Monday, the urologist comes in and is just like, he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And I'm sitting there like, at this point, I'm just aggravated. So I'm like, "Hey, yay, thank God." In my mind, I'm like, "You fucking psychotic sack of shit! You finally showed up. Like, thank God we can get this ball rolling." So I'm like, "Okay, what are my options?" I jumped right into it. I don't want no fucking small talk. I've been there for too long. and I was looking another breakfast in the eyes, and let me tell you something, like the lunch and the dinner weren't bad, only because like the lunch was a hamburger and dinner was London broil, and yeah, they don't use like any seasoning or flavors or anything, but fuck it, at least it's food that I enjoy. Breakfast was like the worst watery egg omelet I've ever had in my life, and I wish I hadn't eaten it. Knew it was healthy though, but it was terrible. And I was looking forward to another one of those. So he goes, you have two options. You can try to pass it naturally. We'll give you the shit called Flomax. It'll open up all your arteries. You can try to pass it naturally in by 6 weeks. Or when that pain gets too much.
Arteries?
Opens the urinary
Okay.
openings.
I was
No.
say, what does widening your blood vessels have to do with
No,
anything?
it opens your hose. So, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll try it. And he goes, or we can do the outpatient procedure, where I go in, laser it, and then pull it out and put a stent in there for like 8 days while you heal, and then remove the stent. And I'm like, and you do all that up? Yeah, we go up the penis, and he starts explaining, like, yeah, we're gonna keep that as
Option
a second
two?
option. That's option B.
I might have opted for that.
If
they knock me out.
You're knocked out
Oh,
for
so-
it. You're knocked out for it. But just, I don't know, for some reason, like, fight or flight kicked in, and I was like,
So we go up your penis.
not about it. And he's
And
explaining
it's got to
it.
be something that's of a significant width to be able to do something. Once
Because it's got a laser and a claw attached to it, yeah.
That's awesome.
So, and the wife's sitting right there, and I see her face contort as he's talking about the procedure, and I'm
And
like,
she doesn't even have a penis.
no. So,
And yet she gets it.
yep. So I went, and here's the funny side note is, so she called into work for me, and everyone at the call center found out while I was there what was going on, and she told me, and this is true because I spoke to most of them when I went back to work, and every dude is like, bro, it's like I came back from war. It's like, thank you for your service kind of thing. It was the weirdest thing. I was like, bro, it's just kidney stones. Like, yeah, it's gonna suck. If I pass this stone before I have to have it surgically removed, I know it is going to be the worst. Just,
I kind of want you to like record it. I mean, we don't need to see it actually coming out.
No.
More like your face while it's happening.
But the thing is, like, here's the worst
Like
part.
the dash cam when you used to do your road travel.
So here's the worst part, and this is why I'm considering just going to get the procedure, because I didn't realize this aspect of what I'm going through right now. So there's this unknown fear every time I take a piss.
Is this going to be the one?
Is this the time? This is like a fucking Saw movie, man. Because,
What's going to happen when this thing just gets stuck halfway through?
well, here's the thing. He said it's a very small possibility that you stop being able to urinate. At that point, you have to call us, and we'll set up an immediate procedure.
Right.
He says it's rare. It's not that big. He goes, it's just big enough to where it's a 50-50 if you're able to pass it.
The whole time since the beginning of you telling us that you had kidney stones, even to you talking about it now, all I pictured, I don't know if you watched that video because I was really just giving you
Oh, from Deadwood?
I was giving you a hard time. There's this scene in the show Deadwood that was on HBO like a decade ago. And one of the main characters, he's like a heel, but he's kind of like a babyface heel. He's the one you like in the show, even though he does shitty things. He gets kidney stones like at the beginning of the second season. And by like episode 4, he is so debilitated by them. He's on the floor. He can't speak. He's like in like shock and like toxic and whatever. They have to kick down the door, and the doc comes, and Trixie the whore is there, and his like road agents are there that slit the throats for him, and they all love him, and they're all and the doc's a shaky drunk that's got PTSD, and Trixie's got a foul mouth, and the other guys are just freaking out because it's dealing with the waterworks, and then anything that is going to make you squeamish when it comes to penis problems. And there's this 4-minute scene where they're like about ready to operate on him, but this is like you're talking the 18 somethings during the gold rush in Montana and
all the medicine had meth, heroin,
and North
cocaine
Dakota
in
and
it.
all that. And they're like just past bleeding people with leeches. And so the doc's like, I know this procedure. I've read it in a book somewhere. And he's like praying to God that he doesn't die in his hands, not again, because he was a field medic and he's still just. But it's just this total intense scene where finally and Al, the guy that has him, he can't speak, and he's just grunting and sweating and moaning, and his guy Dan is like reading his eyes, and you don't know if he's actually communicating to him or if you're now hearing Dan speaking on his behalf, whether Al wants or goes, he doesn't want to be cut. He wants to try and pass it the natural way again. And so they stand him up and they're like, push, and they show the floor, and there's little drops of blood drip. And then he's like, all right, now shoot him up with some dope. And they cook up some heroin and shoot him up with it. And he grabs this big metal utensil and he goes, now Al, I'm gonna shove this up your prick, and this is the language you're using, and I'm gonna try and you keep pushing. And then he shoves it up there, and I can hear it tapping against the stones. And then he's like, now Trixie, I want you to milk his prick. And it's like this hilarious intense scene and the dialogue is like just like milk his prick and this, that, and the other thing. And dude, the last gasp effort, and he passes the stones, and then all 5 of them collapse on the bed in a heap. It's like the most, and this scene, like, it's so worth watching. It's on like YouTube. Just it's intense and it's funny and it's crazy, and that's all I could think of and all I could picture. Every moment I think about you with these kidney stones. And so I sent it to you to like kind of rib you and make you even more worried about it.
No, there's a fear because listen,
but it's worth watching.
Like,
you should watch it. You'll love it.
I remember passing stones like 10 years ago. I remember the pain leading up to, but I remember the actual passing of the stones. There was like a pressure. Like you explained, like it happened, and then you're like, oh shit! You look down, and you're like, oh, stones. That's blood. But you know why there's blood, so you're like, oh, okay, cool. And then like, you're fine. Everything's all right.
It's like you're in the urinal and whiz, 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 tink, whiz, whiz.
But now I have this not only built up by the medical professionals, but by my own like. Mind is building this scene of when I finally pass it and how painful it's going to be, and like part of me feels like it's going to be
especially since nobody ever has said passing a kidney stone is easy and
exactly
and enjoyable.
Yeah, like I feel like every time I talk about it with somebody, they're giving me like their
sympathy
last rites.
And
they're like
put a hand on your shoulder and kind of shaking their head.
My son, may heaven be with you, kind of thing. And it's just kind of like, and so like I'm all like, hey, listen, guys.
Honestly, I'd rather just say cut off the bad toe and put me back in the game, coach.
I'm at the point, just because of the psychological damage this is doing, just to call the doctor and going, you know what? Just shove the rod up my dick. Let's just do that, okay?
Just knock me out first.
Just knock me out. Give me the curd. And if you don't have like morphine, just get like a big bouncer from a club, all right? Just put me out for like 15, 20 minutes, and we'll be all right. I'm enough of a man. I'll take that. I'll take that pain over the other pain.
My dog I had, he's been dead like at least like 8 years now, but
he's still alive in your heart.
He actually really is. But anyways, the point is that he got kidney stones, and it was one of those weird things where he was getting a little older, and all of a sudden, it was one of those things where he was kind of like peeing on stuff, but it was kind of like he was just had like a leak going.
Yeah.
You know? And so, after like a day or two of like, shit, I'm cleaning up little dribble spots everywhere. He's almost like trailing it.
Yeah.
I took him to the vet, and x-rayed him, whatever. They said, your dog has a lot of fucking kidney stones.
How did a dog
And-
get kidney stones?
I mean, probably just eating the wrong foods. Maybe, and even having the probably the bagged foods you buy in the store.
yeah,
You know, but I also used to give him like people food all the time.
yeah.
Apparently peanut butter is like a big no-no for kidney stones and whatever. But they said, yeah, and a few of them were like caught in his like, you know, his peat track. And so like, you know, halfway down his wiener, he's got like these couple of stones there, which is why he's like leaking all the time.
Oh my
Because
goodness.
he's not getting everything out. And then there's kind of like this drip.
You got a dam buildup there.
So they were like, you know, we're gonna try and they knocked him out, and I guess they just flush water through the
yeah,
wang, and push the ones that are stuck out,
yeah,
and then they took out the others that were in his, I guess,
yeah.
either his bladder. I think they're in his bladder, and they said it was like a big. There were so many. It was like a big handful of like grape nuts. It was like that's what it looked like. And I'm like, Jesus. And they're like, yeah, it was like this. We haven't really ever seen it this bad too often. And they're like, all right, time to like get him a different food and blah, blah, blah. But it was like, and my dog was like, never sold it. He never acted like he was in discomfort or pain, or
They
just
keep-
always sat and smiled and
Yeah.
ran around. He was active. It wasn't like he was not being active or that he was hurt or what. So it was weird. The only reason I even, you know, took him in was because he was peeing everywhere. And I'm like, he's kind of not that old that he should be peeing himself all the time.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy, man. No, yeah, Jesus. Yeah. Oh God, I hope that's not. It's just for me. It was more of a. It was more of a like. I was in the hospital. They knew it was kidney stones. We're waiting on the urologist, but there was no point because they wanted to keep me another night. And I was like, at this point, you're milking the insurance. Because
Yeah.
I wanted to leave by like noon. I was good to go by noon. I was like, give me some antibiotics. Do your thing. Let's just go. Well, let's move it along, people. I got kidney stones. I'll try to pass them. If they don't pass, fuck it. I'll go to the doctor.
That's rough, man. That's. I feel for you, but also I'm taking every moment.
Oh yeah.
To,
Because
to poke the bear.
because the inevitable is like I know we're driving.
But so are you like in pain all the time?
there's a very
What like that day when you were like intense pain?
that was the kidney stone moving to like the final position.
Oh, okay.
So like it's
All right. I was gonna say what
yeah.
mitigated that pain since then.
So the whole so what the pain so kidney stones the pain in kidney stones is the stones traveling around through the track
We're learning here, people.
and from the kidneys to the bladder and up the
This is-
urethra and all that
This
shit.
this is fact-based science filtered through a wide mesh bro science.
Someone who deals very little in actual facts.
Right. This is
Wild conjecture.
The
is
telephone game of one. You wouldn't think it would get this skewed off track.
That's the magic though. That's the magic is how off base. No, so like if in all like for all intents, basically like I got one in the chamber and I need to fire it off, but it might not go. The bullet might be too big.
It might be the wrong round for the gun.
Yeah. So we'll see, man. There's a pressure that I feel almost at all times, except like for like an hour after I've taken a piss, I feel great. And then like as you drink, I've been drinking a shitload of water. So like as you fill up the bladder,
So
there starts to be a pressure build
right,
again.
that flushing it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, so you gave a list of like they said everything you can't eat now,
Which is my entire diet.
and I was like, this is everything Marco eats.
Yep.
And I'm like, I said I'd rather I said something like I'd rather kill myself than do this, or I'd rather go under the knife than I'd rather
Yeah.
just keep. It's almost it was like the rationale of me was like, if I got to eat this diet, and I'm on a restrictive diet, like
Yeah.
with, like no carbs, but this was like crazy, and I'm like, if I had to do this to avoid kidney stones, I'd almost rather just deal with the kidney stones every now and
Yeah,
then.
just every 6 months, just pay a dude
It's
to
like
go
a
up there and
fat
clean
guy.
it out.
It's like, well, I could afford the liposuction every year, so I'll just do that instead of diet and exercise.
No, I did like afterwards. Like I had a lot of time to do research, and it came down to like so when I moved back from Ocala and had to go from a night shift type of life to back to like the day walker life. I drink a lot of Monster and a lot of Red Bull to like.
Yeah, you live the Kyle lifestyle.
I did live the Kyle lifestyle. No drywall was harmed in the making of these kidney stones. So, and then I got a second job on top of that. So then I'm just drinking, after I'm acclimated to one job, now I'm drinking all this energy drinks and all this caffeine just to stay on, and sugars and stuff, just to stay on top of having the second job.
Yeah.
And it's like, I started to realize
But I know those. But you knew those were not good for you.
Look. I thought that I was going to have a Crohn's reaction at some point. That's what my worry was. But like 2.5 weeks ago, I was like, okay, I'm a little out of control. I need to stop. So I started drinking more water. I switched from soda to sweet tea, which the idea of going from sweet tea to unsweet tea, and I was going to go back to kind of my workout diet.
Jesus, it's like you're tapering off cigarettes here.
Kind of.
But
I was
sweet
drinking.
tea.
I was drinking that much caffeine where I didn't want to shock my body.
Okay.
So I'd already
caffeine's okay.
But all the sugar and everything wasn't though.
Yeah.
So,
they make
and I don't
sugar.
drink coffee. Like if I drink coffee, this probably wouldn't have been an issue.
You would have different issues. Everything gives you an issue.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
And the quantities you do things in.
So I'd already started filtering it off, and I'm looking online, and I'm like, I just started this whole process way too late. Like and it was already, the damage was done, my friend, by the time I started cleaning up my diet and shit. So it isn't.
It's like Kevin Smith had lost 100 pounds, but he still had the heart attack.
Yeah, it's like the damage is done. So what I'm doing now is basically like, you can still eat what you want, but you have to do it in moderation. And that seems like such a simple thought.
No, that's a 4-letter word, moderation, in our circle.
It seems like such a simple idea that you don't have to tell a grown adult. But I'm no regular grown adult, apparently. And I have to learn everything the hard way.
No, this is America. Nobody knows the word moderation.
So I'm still going to enjoy the things I enjoy, but now it's like, okay, like we went to the Ren Fair. And even at the Ren Fair, I didn't go crazy. I got some Dole Whip because they offered Dole Whip, and I'm always going to have Dole Whip when it's offered because I love Dole Whip. And that's just pineapple ice cream. I didn't even drink soda because I was conscious. I'm like, I don't want to. This is the point. I don't want to drink soda. I don't really feel like tea. So we're just gonna drink water. Like I ended up I only got a soda because one of the members of our party had one of the, there's a good thing. So one of the members of our party that works with us, she had brought a like the suntan lotion bottles, specifically made for another reason, and she had some Kraken spiced rum. And she's like, hey, would you like some of my sunscreen? I'm like, no, that's okay. She goes, I think you want some of my sunscreen. I'm like, are you kidding on me in front of my wife? Like, in my mind, I'm like, what's going on? She opens it and she goes, it puts it up to my nose. I go, is that rum? She goes, yeah, it's Kraken rum. I'm like, oh shit.
You keep saying like Kraken like it's a
brand.
I understand. But it's not like it's a good brand that you need to be like, but it's Kraken.
I don't know. I've never had it before. I just know I know of it, and I've seen the bottle before in a liquor store.
Yeah,
but like but I drink Jack Daniel's, logo. Johnny Walker, Jim Beam. Like I stay with like
all the trash, all the low end trash.
Oh, the low end trash! You son of a bitch.
What we like to call the affordable bottles.
Listen. Every now and then I get a nice bottle of Buffalo Trace. That's some good stuff.
Oh my god.
Anyway, so I bought a soda for that. I didn't even finish it. I just like used it because it the Kraken the rum itself was smooth, but whatever fucking sriracha bullshit they used to spice it up, bro, I was not about. I just wasn't. I'm like the actual rum is great, but the fucking however they spiced this,
the spice in spiced rum,
it was spicy as fuck, man. It really was. I was not happy with the idea of that going through my body. But I did drink like half the container of sunscreen because We're at the Ren Fair, and
You have to drink, otherwise, how are you going to spend a day at the Ren Fair?
exactly.
So apparently you didn't know Anthony came and did a
No, I had no idea AJ was in
podcast.
town.
AJ.
AJ. Yeah.
Oh.
I saw. It's funny, and
He was down for work again, and he volunteered to come since he showed no call the last time.
oh, he felt bad. Did you guys have a moment?
We
you hug it
did.
out?
He understood
Oh, okay.
where he was.
You guys had that private
He
understanding.
did the make good. I think he was motivated because Blake can't be bothered to participate. That he also wanted to,
Listen.
he wanted to be in the other category.
Blake's a man making moves, Ben. We've talked about this.
Yeah, I'm not talking about it. But so I'm not going to tell you the story. I don't know if you even heard it because I actually didn't tell it on the thread. But there's a good shit yourself story that happened
Oh no.
this last week
Oh no.
that you have to listen to that podcast for.
Oh,
that
no.
will have you laughing.
Now that I know this record, have you posted it?
Not yet.
Oh,
I'm gonna throw that up after.
Yeah,
we're
I'm
done
gonna
here.
have to listen to that.
But yeah, that's a good one for you to catch. And also, I think that this podcast only needs to be about your kidney stones. But I will say that the search for Drew, and a lot of people are like, unless they know all four of us, we haven't explained anything about our group
we never should.
or our dynamic.
We never should.
People could just figure it out as it goes along. But the search for Drew has ended.
Yeah.
The my folly was that he stopped talking in our Facebook chat, and we all thought he just decided to blow us off or had heat with us or something. And my folly was messaging him through Facebook privately, and I'm like, he never messaged me back for that either. And so I thought, to me, that confirmed there was an issue. But then we saw him post on Instagram today, so I commented and I said, "Are you real lifing us?" And that's an inside joke about real life is better than this garbage, and it referred to wrestling at that point. But so he replies instantly back, "No, I just deleted my Facebook. You guys need to start a text chat." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, at least Drew's alive." A. To B, Drew still likes us and wants to be our friends. Which was a question for a minute when he wasn't answering our messages on Facebook. And so he's hale and hearty. And I bet you I'll get him all the way from Tampa on this podcast before we get Blake on this podcast.
That's a real challenge right there.
It's not a challenge. It's a fact.
Blake.
That's a sure
the
thing. That's
gauntlet's
easy
been
money.
laid down, Blake.
No, that's easy money. Easy money.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness! Well, it's good to know that Drew is alive in good health and in a new relationship. It looks like based on the Instagram. Drew, I will not be getting an Instagram chat kind of thing. Maybe we'll put a text chat or something. But I'm not downloading Instagram. I'm just
Why?
not doing
Instagram's fun.
it.
I don't know what your problem is. Yeah.
Look, I'll get rid of Facebook. I've debated it.
I'll real talk you right now, Mr. I want to start making my props and stuff again. There's no better place to be than Instagram to promote that stuff and get a following and drum a business. But what do I know?
I'm
just Kermit sipping his tea over here. Okay?
You're just a lowly artist.
I'm not even that.
Oh,
maybe a bullshit artist at this point.
Well, so yep. Prime's got the kidney stones, and I'm working through it.
At least you're not going to die. Pissing blood could be a.
Yeah. That was my thought process. I'm like, this isn't something the human body really should be doing. So let's just make sure that I'm not, dropping an organ or something,
Right. Like as you're walking by, you shit your liver out, and
Yeah.
you're like, well, I hear I can live a few weeks without a new one. So let's.
So yeah, it looks like I just but
It's a shame. Listen, but definitely, I'm glad. This is kind of like an inside thing, but I'm kind of glad that you've got stuff going well at your other job. Maybe it'll free up some time for you when we do these. When Anthony's in town, you're not working, and we can.
So three things. One, this whole experience has taught me to at at 36 to really start paying attention to my health. So like I've made an appointment with like my here's a great little story.
I'm eye rolling here.
I called my
At 35.
36, going on 37 in a month, sir. I called my primary because I had to list my primary, and I've never seen my primary. Literally have never seen my primary doctor. Never. And I called my primary's office, and she's like, oh, so how'd the kidney stone thing go? And I'm like, we're still working on that. And I'm like, I was just calling to see if I could like set up an appointment to get like a full physical,
You're just asking for trouble.
Well, I listen, and a lot of this is because of the wife, but it's like, I do want to know. I do want to know.
True story that a lot of the guys that do the scans, the doctors that do and read the scans, are deathly afraid to ever get scanned themselves.
Really?
Oh yeah, they a million times are like, I feel good. I don't want to.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're inviting a problem by looking for it, and that it's some weird logic that if you're not looking for it, it won't be there.
Yeah, no. That's total. But
it's true. Like a lot of those doctors that read and the scans and diagnose the stuff, they're adamantly not about to scan themselves.
We need to get Dr. Sexy in here and really go through on this one. I mean, he could shed a lot of light on that. But yeah, definitely.
I think he's like a surgeon. I don't know if he's got a lot of.
Well, I'm
like
sure,
a sports orthopedic surgeon or something.
I'm sure he knows how these things work, though.
Oh, the scans?
Yeah. I'm kind of positive that he knows the workings of these things and probably knows the technicians and has stories.
He's got to have stories.
Yeah, he's got to have great stories.
His nickname's Dr. Sexy because of a story. So,
yeah. But so and the receptionist is very kind. She sets an appointment, and I go, "Oh, by the way, where's your office located?" And there's this long silence, and she goes, "Wait, you've never been here before." I was like, "Well, it's a long story, but no." She's like, "How'd you know that we were your primary?" It was on the discharge paperwork at the hospital. And she just goes, I hear like this, like she wants to laugh, but she has to be professional.
Why?
I don't know. And she goes,
I'd be a terrible doctor because I would laugh.
She goes, I'll tell you what, I'm going to call you back. Don't answer. I'll leave you a voicemail with the address and all the appointment information. And she goes, and she's very kind afterwards. And I'm like, oh my God. Like,
did she sound hot?
Huh? Oh my God. She sound hot. You know the terrible snafu of thinking someone sounds attractive on the phone and then like seeing them in person. You're like, whoa, the voice doesn't match what's sitting in the chair. That poor chair. I'm not making a weight joke, Ben. That would be wrong.
Oh, we made again, listen to the other podcast.
Oh, Lord.
There's a fat lady story in there.
But yeah, so I'm gonna kind of at least make sure that all the plumbing and everything is good, and I'm hoping like I don't go through the whole physical just for the doctor to go, well, you got kidney stones, like motherfucker. Yeah, we know that.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff, but also quitting the call center job because I'm getting getting and put in a better position at my other job, which is fantastic. I enjoy that a lot.
Are we?
But the third thing is going.
Are those spoilers? Are you fucking yourself right now?
No.
All right.
No. As long as Monday goes well, I won't be. But maybe next week's podcast is about how I fucked myself today.
Somebody heard and said, I heard, and ruined your 2-week notice at work.
I don't think I'll make it the 2 weeks because they've been in a state of firing people for the dumbest shit. They might fire me after. I don't give a shit, though.
Firing at least will get you some unemployment checks.
That's right, sir.
No one needs to know you're employed at another job.
Yeah. And then the third thing is I'm like, okay, I'm going to get back on track with a more reasonable diet. And when I have the time, I'm going to get back into a gym and at least feel in better shape again. Nothing crazy.
New year, new me.
No. I just don't want to have a surprise. I'd like to be in a shape where if I'm pissing blood, I'm like, now something's really wrong because I'm doing all the right things, as opposed to like, well, this was inevitable. Which is what, when I kid you not, I'm sitting there like, when I realize I have to go to the hospital going, well, I put this on myself. I asked for this. I knew that this was an inevitability, and I'd really like for it to be a surprise, like, oh fuck, like urgency as opposed to like, well, here we go. So that's my harrowing story of I guess the continuing
It's
epic
ongoing.
journey. Yeah, the ongoing
I
saga.
have a feeling anyone that sat through this story, and I'm not saying that as like that you're a bad storyteller or anything, but that they're definitely going to want to hear the update when you finally
Oh, listen. This is
deal with this.
This is ongoing. This is part one of a saga.
This
sir.
Raiders of the Lost Ark boulder you have inside
Yeah,
inside your body.
Listen, I got fucking Anakin in there in a fucking sand dune. That man hates sand, but he won't leave. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know, man. I'm dealing with it though. They gave me the good meds, and I am slowly becoming insane over the thought of every time I take a piss, this might be the moment.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It's like the worst Christmas ever. Just reoccur like Groundhog Day.